All right, and welcome back to the Instinct podcast. We have a very, very special episode today. We've got the reunion of a few of the members of teen hit series Blue Water High. How's everyone going?
Hey, hello.
We're good.
It's unreal seeing you all. We were speaking before, I think a couple of you guys were already here, about how you guys literally carried our childhoods, especially our school holidays when the marathons would come on ABC3. So very unique seeing all your faces.
It's nice to see some faces as well.
Yeah.
For us.
And you all look the same.
Hopefully this brings back holiday feelings then for everyone.
Yeah.
Positive feelings.
And we'll give a special shout out to Mara as well, because it's 6 a.m. over in Berlin. So thank you so much for jumping on.
Thank you.
So a crazy thing I reckon is, I think me and Josh, we might be the same age right now as you guys when you shot Blue Water High.
Oh God, how
makes you feel a bit older.
How old are you?
We're 20.
You're 20 now.
Yeah, around the same age.
It was around that, yeah. I think I was the oldest, right? I think I was 20, 21.
You were 21. I remember 21 because there was something you could get away with that the rest of us couldn't, Chris. I know. I was 18 because I just finished high school, so I was 18.
I was 20. Going on 21, I think.
Yeah.
And Mara, you're a bit younger, aren't you?
Yeah, Soph and I were the babies at 15.
Oh, wow.
God, wow.
True. We'd never have picked it. So we'll wind it back. And the first thing that I was personally curious about was, what was the casting process like to actually getting on the show?
Right.
So, Chris, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, gosh, I mean, it's so long ago now, it's really kind of casting the memory back. It's standard, right? Like, obviously that doesn't mean anything to anyone who's not in the industry, but, you go for the initial audition and then you get, I can't remember, I don't know if you guys remember how many callbacks there were. I only distinctly remember one callback, to be completely honest. There might have been multiple. And then, you either get the call or you don't. And we got the call. I know that's not particularly sort of insightful, but you go and you read, your couple of scenes, and then and they kind of start to shortlist, and you get a call back. And I can't remember if we got paired up with people. I don't recall getting paired up with other.
We did I remember they brought us all together earlier on before we were shooting to do like surfing. Remember we did like a surfing like week of training, getting to know each other, sort of throw us all out in the deep end, literally, and see how we fared on a surfboard. I remember that, actually. That was fun.
Yeah, I was cast from Western Australia, and I was just finishing the academy in acting, studying, and they sort of had this rule where you weren't supposed to. It was kind of like you weren't supposed to. Anyway, an agent at the time basically said, "Hey, there's this show," and it kind of was an accident how I ended up in the room with Nerida, and she basically said, "There's a show, and you should really put down a tape for this." And so I ended up, I think we were doing Macbeth at the time, and I ran away during like lunchtime in between rehearsals and put down this tape.
I didn't know that.
In the office. And then quickly jumped on my bike at the time. Maybe it was, I think I rode a bike, to get there faster. And then I got back just in time for the lunch to finish and to go back to rehearsals. And it was like, ooh, I just snuck away to do this audition. I didn't really expect to hear anything from it. And then, got a call. And from the same agent, very excited. And then next thing was over in the Big Smoke over in Sydney, and had to do another tape in the office of Helen Salter. And that was kind of how it happened for me.
Yeah, sheesh.
Can't imagine anyone else playing Edge, cannot imagine anyone else.
Neither can we. I think we wanted to be Edge more than anyone, just a ripped, just cool guy.
Wasn't he just the cool dude?
It's a character that I played, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that that's me in real life. There are some, I think, personal issues that Edge deals with, but I'm still trying to get over myself.
Dear.
And Mara, what was your process?
What was my process? I had started doing some film work when I was 12 in Germany already. And so this was another audition to go to, and I didn't really know where Australia was. I mean, I looked on the map and I saw that there was, in this book, some koalas and nice beaches. And so I went to the first audition, which was like 100 people, I think.
Jeez.
And then it was 4 people, and they had forgotten to send me the script. So in the makeup room, I was trying to learn the lines and was really nervous. But somehow I was quick to learn the lines, and then it all worked out somehow. And then they said, okay, well, we're going to fly you and your entire family to Australia.
Yeah, good.
So
Can't complain with that.
That's a huge one. I don't think they could have picked anyone better for you guys as well. So great choices.
It all works really well. You guys, when you all started like production and everything, what was something that stood out with you with the show that made you think, I really want to roll with this? This is what I want to go with.
I think the surfing was pretty neat. I think that I grew up originally from New Zealand, so a Kiwi, don't hold it against me, but I grew up in kind of Perth ways and spent a lot of time at the beach surfing. And for me, it was really neat when we got there to have the producers actually really keen on making that side of it as authentic as possible. Now, I'm a bit of a kook in the water, but the surface that they got to kind of represent each of our characters they were the shredders and the rippers. And the way that they orchestrated that, I think, was a really kind of clever thing. Just, I don't know, they had some great surfers, and they had a whole B unit. And basically what they do is they'd get all this gnarly footage of these great surfers. One of them who I was really impressed by was actually also a New Zealander. There's a surfer over in New Zealand called Maz Quinn, and his younger brother's named Jay Quinn, and he ended up being like the stunt surfing double for Heath's character, for Adam Saunders. And I thought that was so cool because, Maz Quinn at that time was kind of like the equivalent of Mick Fanning in terms of Australia, and it was his younger brother. So each time I saw him in the water or around, I just had to kind of look twice, pinch myself, I guess. But the thing is they had this whole setup where they would go out and shoot the actual surfing, and I can't say how many hours of footage they must have gone through. But they pioneered various techniques to do that with their 16mm film rolls that the series was shot on. And they also used like tabletops and things like that to swap out the close-ups with us principal cast. And so we'd be standing on these sort of tabletops next to a caravan back at
with a garden hose.
The wave machine.
Flashing water on us. What do they call that?
The wave machine, wasn't it?
The wave machine, that's right. And sort of doing reactions and like as the water's like hitting us, and then like these basically junior pro surfers are out in the breaks doing all this amazing in my case, like I think the guy who was he was sort of my character in the surf. He was doing all this crazy aerial stuff, and I can't do an air reverse to save my life. So that was pretty neat. The length that they went to make sure that was, when those surfing vignettes were shown, that they actually really captured how exciting and kind of energetic surfing itself is, and I think that comes across, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And what about you guys, Tahyna?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, Khan was spot on, but also I think for us, we were all very young at the time, and the storylines felt very close to, you know, what happens during the high school. And I think for all of us, we were just excited to be part of something that felt really fresh and new. And I don't know, I know speaking from, you know, my experience, but the whole crew were just so wonderful to work with. We just all had a ball. It was just like a big giant family for this period of time in, you know, this beautiful sunny Australia. And it was just like the perfect storm for everything to be so fabulous. So I never wanted it to end, to be honest. And when it did, I was heartbroken when it ended. But yeah, I just think everyone worked their asses off. Excuse me, but everyone worked really hard.
You're good.
And everyone was just so kind and generous. And yeah, everyone really wanted to make something really new and unique. And I think that's why it sort of has lasted this long. Like it just amazes me that people still say Perri from Blue Water High, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like 20 years ago or something. It's like so long ago. So
it's so long ago that it's hard to kind of remember it all.
Totally. So no, yeah, it was a very unique experience.
Yeah, love it. Chris, Mara, anything that really pulled you in, sucked you in?
Everything that Khan and Tahyna said, but honestly, like at the time, like Tahyna said, we're all young, and just like getting a lead in a series was like a massive thing just in and of itself, right? To be honest, we could have been shooting out in the middle of God knows where, and it still would have been maybe not as awesome, but yeah, just super exciting to land a role like that in a show like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, it was life-changing, obviously, because I would have never traveled to Australia probably. And I stayed afterwards and studied dance and theater, and I was working as a lifeguard, and, so yeah, it was a big, very important part of my life. And I also, like Tahyna said, I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, it felt like it went so fast, didn't it? Like we were there and then all of a sudden it was done. 26 episodes or something done.
Yeah.
Sheesh. So for me and Josh, especially me in particular, as a young, naive kid, I always had Mick Fanning, and then I had you guys all on the same echelon.
It's the same, bro.
So
really.
so what was the actual extent of your surfing abilities? Can you guys all get on the board? Like, I can't even push myself up, so we'll start with Chris.
Let's take this one.
Go on, Chris, you go first.
No, please.
No, it's going to say.
I will just say.
Go.
I was going to say quickly. Khan said he was a kook on the board, but was the only one who could surf. He was
Khan definitely. When again that sort of intensive week, Khan was off surfing, and we were like, damn it. So I mean, I
on our big softboards trying to, in the shallows, not get rolled over.
Exactly. It's just everyone had their own kind of, we're all sort of at different stages. And I think we all, again, being young and hungry, we all went for it as much as we could. I mean, I knew how to paddle a board and stand up, but I could never actually travel the wave like that my double could. So I would just be like standing there and then just slowly collapse to the side. But yeah, again, like, the doubles that they got were so wonderful for us, and they made us look really good. So if you guys believe that that's want to believe that's with us, then sure, it was us all along.
We'll just ignore the last. We'll ignore the last 15 minutes.
I still believe it.
Was that part of the casting? Like, did they ask if you could surf?
They probably did, right?
They did. Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did ask if well, certainly if we were comfortable in the water and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't really, it didn't seem like it was a priority. It seemed like it kind of was a bonus. And for me, it was just like purely like a bit of luck, and that was able to feed into the character. So I was able to kind of sit in that character more easily. And it was like, wow, I'm out here in a preparation, a rehearsal, like a surf camp. But wait a second. I was just a student, like, weeks ago, months ago. Now I'm sitting here like out in Queenscliff, Manly, and I'm surfing these waves that I never thought I'd be kind of have a chance to, and I'm actually, I think I'm getting paid in some way, which was pretty neat at the time, being like 20 years old. Yeah, so the other thing was, I think, they had some pretty like funny, because memory's a bit fuzzy on this stuff, but I did have a quick look at some of the episodes, just, study before the test type thing. And I noticed there's some hidden bloopers with the surfers, particularly, I don't want to, I guess, ruin it, but after, say, nearly 20 years, I guess it's okay. The surfer that I'm not exactly sure who it was that was representing Fly on the board. I don't know, maybe it's poignant for today's times, but it was actually a guy, I think, with a wig.
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
And that's really funny when you think about it, because if you look closely enough, it really kind of, it looks like it may as well, rather than a wig, it could have just been like a clump of seaweed. Yeah, so, and I think there was also one of the surfers who played a part in the show, who was, a bit of a local ripper, shredder, was Angus Stone, I think.
Stone, yeah.
Julia Stone. And so it was pretty interesting to see the trajectory of him. And
Soph and I thought he was so cute. Yeah, that's what we were talking about in the.
Oh dear.
Did you guys learn anything during the production, or what was the most profound thing that you learned during production that you've taken with you through your journey through acting?
Journey through acting? I don't know. I mean, I learned that not all spiders in Australia are so dangerous. So I remember in the beginning of filming, I was sitting at lunch and, in like a bikini or a skirt, and then I looked down and had this huge huntsman crawling up my leg. I was like, froze. And luckily, Aya, you all remember her, she got it off my leg. And later I learned, it's not that dangerous of a spider, but we don't have any of those in Germany. So, hey,
yeah, you gotta watch out for those huntsmen.
I think
Australia that can kill you.
Yeah, especially in Australia. I think in terms of being young actors on a set, so I took everything from that set. I just we all, even though we were all very young, we were all very professional, and we all really wanted to do a good job. So I think ultimately it taught me respect for the whole production, not just yourself as an actor and knowing your lines and being prepared and doing the work, but showing up for everyone else who shows up hours before, whether that's, the unit setting up, base camp, or the camera people and the camera department, and they're testing out their cameras and doing their work. Everyone has a role to play, and to treat everyone equally with respect. And I feel like that's taken me quite a fair way in my career. I don't know if anyone feels the same, but certainly that's what it taught me.
Yeah, 100%. I'd agree with that. Be easy to work with, be respectful. Yeah, know your shit, turn up, know your lines. Yeah, be professional.
Hit your marks if you can.
What's that?
Hit your marks if you can.
Hit your marks.
Hit your marks, sorry. Yeah, 100% if you can.
Third time's a charm. Third time's a charm.
Yeah, hit your marks, yeah.
No, you're 100%. You're doing a good job if they have to use a shot bag, that's right. Velcro, they have to use a shot bag so your foot actually feel it. You make it a bit more practice.
I do have a lot of memories though of us. We did get the giggles a lot, where I think it's called like corpsing or whatever, I don't know. But we would all start laughing for some unknown reason. And we would always do our damn hardest every time they would go to everyone's single close up that all our shoulders were just going at 100 miles and I was trying not to hold the giggles in. So that did happen a lot. But that's because we were enjoying ourselves. We did enjoy the company, and it was But that didn't happen all the time. We were very professional, but we got the giggle.
Well, that's a good lead into our next question. What do you reckon is like a memory that just sticks out in your mind, especially when you just think of Blue Water High as a whole?
For me, it's being so close to the beach and the sunrises. Like, being called in so early was tough, but we got used to it, I think, and to see so many beautiful sunrises at the beach, that's just magic, priceless.
Hacky sack in boardies.
Yes, so much hacky sack. We had the best rallies.
With like everyone there, like the crew and
everyone.
At lunchtime, that was really nice. It was really, like Tahyna said earlier, the whole crew and everybody, we were one big team, and got along really well and had respect for each other, and also had fun with each other, like playing hacky sack and celebrating each other's birthdays, and this kind of really good atmosphere. Mm-hmm.
How good.
For sure.
Just in your earlier question, just working with some of the directors, and some of the actual, they'd done things at that time. They'd been over places like the US, and people like Ralph Strasser and Marcus Cole, and just at the time, like I was very much like wanting to, I don't know, there's always in my approach to acting a little bit of method. So I was kind of, I don't know, part of me was maybe just in character the whole time. I'm not sure.
You
maybe.
can't really.
Maybe looking back, kind of, it does mean that you can't enjoy the process and be as open to what's actually happening around you, the people that you're participating in it with. So there's that, but also just with talking with the directors, and I remember wanting to get feedback on how I was going. It's probably a little bit insecure, but they would always talk about simplicity, and they would always talk about, less is more, and sometimes you don't need to kind of hit 10 beats in a scene. It could just be three beats in a scene, and then you can just kind of be simple, and that can, in terms of how it comes across to an audience, be in some senses the most profound. So that was an interesting lesson acting wise to take away from that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, beauty.
For sure. Now, you guys are a part of our childhoods. What shows did you guys grow up with? I'm very curious to know.
It's a good question.
Well, one of the things that I was so excited about in terms of landing that gig, Blue Water High, and Edge, Dean Edge Edgley, which is pretty hilarious when you think about that character name. But it was Heartbreak High was made by the same people, and the original Heartbreak High. And so having been like going to school and kind of growing up watching that made it exciting to go into the series.
Yeah, and it was cool having a few of the cast doing guest roles on Blue Water as well, right?
That's right. You're right. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a big fan of Round the Twist.
Yeah.
And I'm a massive nerd, so like mine's just embarrassing. Like I only just recently rewatched Pokemon all over again. I'm like way too old for that stuff, so I don't even care. I say it out loud now because it's just is what it is. So, but yeah, I think I was a big fan of Round the Twist, and yeah, like I think ABC at the time were really pioneering these great shows, and they still do. So yeah, it was just exciting to be part of that family.
Somewhat along the same vein, Degrassi Junior High, the original. Did you guys watch Degrassi?
Yeah.
I know that you
I
might.
was- yeah,
saw it
I
as
remember
well.
a couple episodes of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big one for me as well.
Probably the reboot, though, I reckon.
Right. I never really watched the reboot. The original
Yeah.
was, you can't beat the original. You got it's very old now, but yeah, you got to go watch the original.
Yeah. And Mara?
Well, there are German TV shows, so
Yeah.
it's Pfefferbande, and I don't know. Charlie was a TV show with our Charlie, unser Charlie, with a monkey, a chimpanzee. I don't know how to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You got it.
And he was helping in a vet's office, and always, finding by accident the right cure for the animals. And it wasn't cartoon, so it was a trained monkey, I guess, which you wouldn't do today. But I loved it.
Love that. Leading off Khan before and talking about his method acting, especially with Edge. I remember myself in the schoolyard just being overly competitive and just being judgmental and grunting.
I can back
and
that. He's still like that
and
too.
grunting and just being a really cool guy. How different would you guys say you were to your characters back in the day?
I was very similar. Oh, in some ways. Quite shy and reserved till I get to know people. I think my character was cast pretty well.
Yep.
Yes, socially pretty awkward. Sorry, there you go. That's right there. But
God, you're good. I've missed you.
that's just what you do. But it's just that thing of I think just that social kind of reservedness, I think, is quite similar. But as far as being this competitive surfing powerhouse, that's about as far away from me as you can get. So yeah, but there's other things in the character that I was able to sort of inject from my own just experience and my own personality. I think sometimes when the lines get blurred, you add little touches of yourself into the scenes, and sometimes it's just can be for your own amusement, and just to add like a little flourish of something that in a way makes a subtle comment, and it's accurate to maybe behavior that you grew up with or around. And then it somehow, what you're around, your environment, you become part of that, becomes you. You can't help it. And then to be able to like make a little comment with a gesture or just an attitude in a scene, not necessarily going to, you don't think it's necessarily going to actually come up in the final edit. But then if you see that it does make it to the final edit, it just adds that color and shade. So there were definitely things from my own personality that I was able to get in there, and I felt like that was kind of part of that's part of the craft as well. When you're not doing the surfing so much as you're in there doing the acting, trying to make it feel real. And I don't know about you guys, like how you went about it, but yeah.
Hey guys, it's me, Josh, from the NSYNC podcast.
Hey guys, Del here. Just wanted to remind you guys to follow our Instagram
at @NSYNC_pod, where you'll find clips and previews of our next podcasts, as well as clues for our next interviews and polls on our stories.
Go check us out. Go show us some love. Show us some support. And stay tuned for some more videos. Cheers.
Well, I'm curious about Del and Josh, how you actually, what did you perceive? Because if you're asking how much are we similar to our characters, sometimes how people see you is not necessarily how you feel from the inside, right? So what was it that you guys perceived? Yeah.
Well,
how would you describe,
Yeah, well, we were pretty young, so I would have kind of just assumed you guys were exactly how you were in the show.
Yeah.
And
I was always,
and I don't know, you guys were just so it was like 4 years straight where I was watching you guys like with my older sister, and then it'd come on again on ABC3 and again and again and again. So it would be like, I don't know, I just kind of had this imprint in my head. Like, I'd look at you guys the same way I look at Josh. Like, that's Josh, that's who he is, that's what he does. And I'd look at you guys the same way. So yeah, that's just how I perceived you guys. So.
And I'd say the exact same thing as well. I've always since probably until not even that long ago, I always kind of perceived actors as that is who they are, because you guys played such a great role in how you took your characters on. I think I'm exactly the same as Del. I would have expected that's exactly how you guys were out, like when the cameras are off.
So basically, you guys did a great job.
Yeah, to put it simply, yeah.
Finally, after nearly 20 years, to know them.
Somebody says it. Thank you.
I think Khan brought up a good point, is that you definitely bring elements of your own experience and your personality to whoever you play. And I know certainly with Perri, I mean, there's a reason why you have casting directors as well, and people who kind of can see similarities to how a character looks at, how a director looks at a character and producers look at a character, and someone walks into the room and they just know. And I have that experience now being on the other side of the camera when I know someone walks in and that's who I had pictured for the character. But you certainly bring in your own, Perri was written really flirtatious, and at the time I had never had a boyfriend. So, like all those things were really and very overly confident. And I was not confident at all, but I lent into those parts of me that maybe wanted to be. And now, I'm pushing 37 and all of a sudden I'm like super confident, except I've had like 3 kids. And I'm like, damn, I wish I had this when I was 18. So it's just interesting what you bring to the character and what you're experiencing at the time, because it brings different. That's what I was getting at about the different storylines, is that what I really loved about Blue Water High is that a lot of the time they gave us episodes for each of our characters to really shine, and we could, try things as actors and play around with different ideas. And so I thought that was really fun, and I'm glad that they gave us that opportunity at such a young point in our career.
I think that you've put it really well there, that bringing a bit of your own self into the characters, I think, really added that element. It's probably why you guys played such a convincing role growing up. So props to you guys, of course. But now you're a bit older, and you mentioned earlier that you were watching Pokemon. But
I know, oh god, that's gonna hold me for the rest of my life.
But what do you guys watch now? Like, has your perception of TV shows and movies changed now that you know what happens behind the scenes as well, or do you look at it more critically?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I really appreciate good acting, and also good job of all the other departments in the show. So I don't know if you guys know the show Glow.
Yeah, it's great.
Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. I love that one because it's the characters are, they're funny, and it's so well written, and all the love into the detail of the set design, and still the characters have such a depth and are just so truthful, and also they have to, I'm also wondering, okay, so do these actors actually know how to wrestle? I wonder how they staged all the everything, and did they do it with a wave machine like we had, or how does that work? Yeah. So I'm just as curious as you guys about some shows, because I don't know what it looks like behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. What about you guys? Home and Away, that's a pretty common one in Australia.
Yeah, I haven't watched Home and Away in a while. I've a bit of everything, honestly. Just all genres. I like gritty, hard hitting stuff. I fairly recently, I know pretty late to the show, but watched Euphoria. I don't know if you guys have watched Euphoria HBO series. And just speaking of different elements, like Mara was saying, I'm a sucker for a really good soundtrack. And I think Euphoria is just like a visual. I think it's a friggin' masterpiece. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's an original score by Labyrinth. and I just listen to the soundtrack outside of it. So that's just like one example of a show that I like.
Yeah, sick.
I haven't been watching like a lot of shows. I do think that after going through the gambit of being in front of the camera, you maybe look at it from a different perspective. Like some of the magic is, I guess, diminished because you sort of know, the tricks of the trade that create the illusion. But then you appreciate points of the craft, like camera and lighting, and I think things in Blue Water High that stood out. Some of the production designs really neat. But I really love shows going back a while now, like Breaking Bad, just going sort of long form and kind of into territory that's really. In the past, you wouldn't go that far. You wouldn't take it to those extremes. And then, like the level of just the acting in that, and the way that they get into the skin of those characters it's sort of, that's what I like. As far as like something I've seen recently that I enjoyed, it was a movie, and it was I think it was a Nicolas Cage film. A Nick Cage film called Pig. So you become maybe a little bit more selective about what you watch, and then someone's like, hey, what did you watch? And you say, oh, well, have you seen this film about this pig that's like a chef's best friend, and he goes on like a revenge rampage through this town that he was outcasted from to get the pig back. Have you seen that film? People maybe are less like, oh, no, they just maybe a blank stare. But
I feel like that's such a Khan movie to watch.
Oh, so great.
And what about you, Tahyna? Anything on the watch menu lately?
What have I been watching lately? I just finished Bad Sisters. I mean, I try to watch a lot, but I am a mother of 3 young kids at the minute, so a bit limited.
You don't have much time to watch TV.
I know.
That's outrageous.
But I do, no, I have a whole, but I always have had an appreciation for what it actually takes, good or bad. I just think any effort to get something up and running is actually quite a miracle, because there's so many moving parts and so many things have to come together to get everyone there to shoot, and let alone all the way through to post where it lands on your television set and be watched by people. There's so many people that their livelihoods are at stake making these things. So I really try and watch and appreciate everything, whether it's good or bad, or I mean, I don't know, I'm, no critic, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like, but I can still appreciate it all.
Yeah, beauty. Sure. Love that. Well, we've only got a couple more for you because we don't want to keep you guys all day long. One that we're both interested in. What do you guys think your characters would be doing now, 18, 19 years later? If you need a refresher, I watched all the episodes as homework, so I've...
Right. No, I think Anna would probably be, still, she would have regained her confidence and gotten back onto the pro kite surfing circuit, and then maybe started coaching, and then done something like supporting women's rights or equal pay, or like if she's kite surfing in Malaysia or Sri Lanka, maybe give awareness to female mutilation and raise awareness about those kinds of things. I think that's what she would do. Something like that.
Pretty damn cool.
Chris?
I could go the obvious route and say that he's a marine biologist and, doing his thing, looking after marine life. But I reckon he's gone off the rails and is now just a hardcore drug addict and the streets. I'm going to break the mold.
Where are we going with this?
Yep, that's what I'm going with.
Khan?
Well, there was a there was a episode, I think it was the second series, and he comes back and he's sort of, I think he's he's become a little bit disillusioned with the circuit, and I think from memory, he's decided he just wants to become a free surfer. So, which is someone who surfs for the love and not so much for the competition. But I think free surfers in the surfing world, they still get sponsorships, from these really big companies. So, still an ideal lifestyle. But maybe he might have just started like some kind of maybe a surf camp or something like that. And he probably would maybe just bring young grommets into the camp to maybe, show them the ways and help them find their feet as they move toward the tour. Maybe some kind of, I don't know, surf coach, or some kind of guru for the young ones coming up or something like that. But maybe less.
Do you think he'd like kids? I'm not so sure.
Well, yeah, that's a question. I think he has a soft spot somewhere in there. So I think he would. I think, yeah. I just think maybe because he had this very intense start in his kind of trajectory, he probably would soften through the years, and maybe you just wouldn't want to get a bad score or anything like that. Edge is not someone that you want to just disappoint. He's a bit edgy, so something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, love it. Tahyna?
Oh, well, back as a singer in season 2, mind you, not a very good singer. I don't know. Sometimes some of her things are a little bit questionable. I know what I would like her to do, but there's a lot of TikTok and stuff. Maybe she has her own TikTok channel now, and
yeah, I'd buy that.
Would you buy that?
I think so.
Yeah, I reckon she'd have her own TikTok channel and maybe still doing some gigs around the RS, something like that. Who knows? Oh, poor love. Gotta love it.
Love that. Well, we'll round out with one last question. This one's an open one for you all. Would we ever do a reunion special? And could me and Josh score a couple of extra gigs somewhere?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean by a reunion? You mean this is the
reunion episode?
Come together. I reckon a little rematch of that final. I reckon, Matt, you were robbed. Somewhere along the line.
Heartbeat. Honestly, I think if the opportunity ever came that we had the opportunity to come back, I think we all would. Well, I'm totally speaking for everyone here, but it was a wonderful experience. So yes, if it ever came back, I would be the first to put my hand up and say, yes, please, let's do it.
Love that.
So you mean like a reunion as far as coming back as the characters?
Yeah, just like a 60-minute
episode or movie.
Yeah, 90-minute banger.
Right, I thought you meant another reunion podcast.
Anytime you like.
I mean, we're down for it. Yeah.
But okay. We have to try and get that those scenes ironed out. Maybe we'll do a private Zoom, guys, and start taking some notes together. A brainstorm session.
We're doing it right now. We've been jotting down.
I'm happy to be the stunt double that wears the wig. So
awesome, guys.
But I don't know if how I would fit that in. I'm starting to work with clients this year as a psychotherapist also, and I marry people. I'm a marriage celebrant. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
You might have
Beautiful.
to
You know,
raise some of the
if we
old.
get,
Who knows?
huh?
I have
Yeah,
to work something out.
yeah. Maybe I'll come to Australia and do a workshop one day. But you know, I'm only starting, so I'll start with single clients in Berlin, and then maybe
That's
one
awesome.
day have a second office in Sydney. Yeah.
Oh, you done.
Fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed. Well, guys, thank you so much for jumping on. This has been pretty surreal for us. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed catching up as well. And thanks for giving us some of your
It's
time,
been
guys.
wild. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Thanks
Really
for organising
appreciate
this.
Thanks so much for organising it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to everyone.
Beautiful,
Everyone's
guys.
so rolled up.
Yeah, absolutely, big time. Well, you guys all look the same as you did 20 years ago. I said it before, but no
Yeah.
change at
No,
all.
the right things to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful, guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll wrap up the episode, and maybe we'll catch up for another reunion 10 years down the track.
That's good. Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much for your
guys.
time,
Thank
guys.
you, everyone.